A £35,000 salary? For a lot of us, that sounds pretty good, right? It's a number that feels like you're properly on the career ladder. A solid income that should mean you're living comfortably. But I'm going to let you in on a secret that they don't exactly print on your job offer. A huge chunk of that money was never really yours.
So what does £35,000 actually look like in 2026? Once you slice away the tax, the bills, and the simple cost of being alive, are you thriving or just about surviving?
In this video, we're going to build a real-world monthly budget for a $35K salary. We'll go from that big, shiny annual number all the way down to the pounds and pence you have left each month. We'll look at housing, bills, savings, and what's genuinely possible. By the end, you'll know the truth about whether $35K is the comfortable life you imagined, or if it feels more like walking a financial tightrope.
All right, first things first, let's rip off the Band-Aid. That £35,000 number is your gross salary. What really matters is your net pay, the money that actually hits your bank account.
For the 2026-2027 tax year, you don't take home £35,000. Not even close.
You get a personal allowance of £12,570, which is the bit you earn completely tax-free. Nice. But you pay tax on everything above that, which in this case is £22,430. At the basic 20% tax rate, you'll hand over £4,486 a year in income tax. That's around £374 a month that's gone before you can even think about spending.
But wait, there's another hand in your pocket. National insurance. For a £35,000 salary, your annual contribution is about £1,800 for the year.
So, let's do the sums. £35,000 minus £4,486 for tax and minus £1,800 for national insurance leaves you with a total take-home pay of £28,714 for the year. We live month to month, so let's divide that by 12. You are left with £2,393 per month. That's our magic number. Now, this is a best-case scenario. It assumes you don't have student loan repayments coming out. It also doesn't account for a workplace pension, which you should absolutely be paying into. A typical 5% pension contribution would take out another 100 or so. But for today, we'll work with that 2,393 figure. Just know that for many people, it'll be even less. From a gross monthly income of over £2,900 to £2,393 net, that's a drop of more than £500. That's the reality. Now, let's see what we can do with it. The first, and by far the biggest chunk of your money, is going to go on housing. This one expense will pretty much decide whether $35K feels comfortable or like a constant struggle. The average private rent in the UK was hitting around £1,381 a month in early 2026. Now, look at our monthly take-home of £2,393. If you tried to pay the average rent, it would eat up nearly 58% of your pay. That's not a budget, that's a recipe for disaster. And where you live changes everything. In London, the average rent is a jaw-dropping £2,273 a month. That's basically your entire salary gone. Living alone in the capital on $35K is, frankly, not realistic. So what can you do?
The picture looks very different once you get out of the big cities. In the Northeast, for example, the average rent is much closer to £770 a month. In Scotland, it's around £1,021, and in Wales, about £826. Suddenly, living alone doesn't seem so impossible, though it's still a massive chunk of your income. A good rule of thumb is to keep your housing costs under 30% of your take-home pay. For us, that's a target of around £720 a month. As you can see, that's way below the national average, which is exactly why so many people feel squeezed. For most people on this salary, especially down south, the answer is sharing a house. Instead of £1,200 for a one-bed flat, You might pay £600 to £800 for a room. That's the compromise that makes the maths work. For our budget, let's be optimistic. Let's say we found a one-bed place outside a major city, or we're living in a cheaper region. We'll budget £850 a month for rent.
Next, council tax. It's not optional, and it varies wildly. For an average Band D property in England, you could be looking at about £200 a month. We'll budget £180.
So, just for a roof over our head, we've spent £1,030. Our £2,393 is now down to £1,363. Now that housing is sorted, let's add the bills that actually make it a home. This is the stuff that keeps the lights on, the water running, and the Wi-Fi streaming. First, energy. Gas and electricity prices are a huge deal. For a 1- or 2-person household in 2026, you can expect an average monthly bill of around £130 to £150. We'll budget for £140.
Next up, water. The average water bill in England and Wales is predicted to be around £40 to £50 a month. Let's pencil in £45. You're going to need internet. For a decent connection, you're looking at about £30 per month. What about your phone? A SIM-only deal can be cheap, but let's budget a realistic £25. And finally, if you watch live TV or BBC iPlayer, you need a TV license. That's a fixed cost of around £13 per month. Let's add it all up. £140 for energy, £45 for water, £30 for broadband, £25 for your phone, and £13 for a TV license. That's another £253 gone. Our remaining balance was £1,363. Now it's down to £1,110.
Okay, quick timeout. We've taken that £35,000 salary, paid our taxes, and covered all the essential bills, and we've still got over £1,000 left. If you're finding this useful, hit that like button and subscribe. This is the part of the budget where we go from just surviving to actually living. We have £1,110 left to cover food, transport, and everything that makes life worth living. Let's start with groceries. The average food shop for one person is somewhere between £200 and £350 a month. Let's aim for a sensible middle ground and budget £250 for groceries. Next, transport. This cost can either be tiny or a budget killer. If you can walk or cycle to work, fantastic. But if you need to run a car, that changes everything. With insurance, fuel, tax, and maintenance, a car can easily set you back £300 to £500 a month, which would completely blow our budget. So, for £35,000 to be workable, we have to assume you're not running a car. Instead, let's say you're relying on public transport. A monthly bus or train pass in a regional city could cost anywhere from £50 to £100. We'll budget £80 for a monthly transport pass. So far, that's £330 for food and getting around. Our remaining £1,110 is now down to £780. This £780 is what's left for you. It has to cover everything from grabbing a coffee to new trainers, a night out, or a birthday present. Social life. Pub trips, cinema tickets, meals out. A dinner can easily be £30. A few drinks, £20. We'll budget £150 a month here.
Subscriptions. Netflix, Spotify, the gym. A gym membership alone could be £30 to £40. Let's say £50 a month for all of it. Shopping. Clothes, toiletries, random household stuff, gifts. There isn't a lot of wiggle room. Let's set aside £100 a month. Contingency fund. Because life happens. An emergency dental appointment, a last-minute train ticket. You need a buffer. Let's put £100 aside for the unexpected. Adding that up, £150 plus £50 plus £100 plus £100 equals £400. After all of that, our £780 is now down to £380. That £380 is what's left at the very end of the month. This is your future money. This is for your emergency fund, for big goals like a holiday or a house deposit.
and for invest. With £380 left over, you absolutely can save. It shows that it's possible to build for your future on this salary, but it takes real discipline. A great first step is building an emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of essential living costs. In our budget, the absolute essentials, rent, council tax, and bills, came to £1,283 a month. So a lean 3-month emergency fund would be just under £4,000. Saving £380 a month, it would take you around 10 months to build up that safety net. And that really highlights the main challenge. On a £35,000 salary, your margin for error is slim. One big unexpected bill, a broken laptop or TV for instance, could wipe out a month or two of your hard-earned savings. But let's be positive. If you can consistently put away nearly £400 a month, that's over £4,500 a year. That is a serious amount of money that can go into a house deposit ISA or a stocks and shares ISA.
It is doable, but it demands that you keep every other part of your budget on a tight leash. So, let's go back to the big question. On a £35,000 salary in 2026, are you thriving or just surviving? Well, as we've seen, the honest answer is, it totally depends on where and how you live. If you're in a high-rent city like London and you're trying to live alone, you are almost certainly just surviving. Rent and bills will swallow your entire income, leaving you with nothing. But if you're happy to share a house, or if you live in a more affordable part of the UK, a £35,000 salary can provide a decent, if not extravagant, life. You can pay your bills, have a social life, and still manage to save a few £100s every single month. The biggest takeaway is that your lifestyle choices, and especially your housing costs, have a much bigger impact on your financial reality than that gross salary number. £35,000 isn't a golden ticket, but it's not a poverty wage either. It's a very workable income that just requires a plan. It demands that you pay attention to where your money is going. It's a salary where you can live a good life, but you have to be the one in the driver's seat. How does this budget stack up against yours? What would you change? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you found this breakdown helpful, you might want to see my video on what's possible with a £45,000 salary, which you can watch right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.